predators and their prey. In our previous class, we are discussing about interactions between plants, interactions between animals, interactions between microorganisms, their effects which are quite negative and positive also. And today we are going to talk about the results of interaction which occur between the predator and their prey. So basically, predator from an ecological point of view has a much broader sense. Predators are organisms that feed directly upon other living organisms by killing the prey. For example, if we talk about lion and a goat, so lion is a predator who is going to feed upon the prey, which is goat. So that is the predator and prey thing. Predators are just live feeders. They used to eat live animals. That is why they are also known as live feeders. Now coming to classification of predators and how these predators are classified. What are their classification? What are their types? So predators are of different types. First predator is herbivores. Herbivore means those animals which feed upon green plants for their food requirement are considered as herbivores. The second one is carnivores. Carnivores means which feed upon living organisms, live on another organism, which fulfill their food requirement with another organism. That human or that animal is known as carnivores. And then there are different kinds of predators according to the different kinds of prey preferences. The first one is monophagous predator, which feed upon single type of prey only. Then oligophagous, which feed upon at least 5-6 types of prey. And then polyphagous, which feed upon wide variety of prey in their surrounding. Now size of predators and prey and its influence on their interaction. Basically, when the size of predator and prey is not definite, then the interaction is not definite. For the particular interaction, the size of predator and prey should be in particular form. There is an interaction between predator and prey which is known as predator and prey interaction. This can be determined. Population dynamics according to this interaction is determined by how many predators capture the prey and at what interval of time. Second thing, how rapidly the prey can compensate this loss in their population. And both these factors are considered simultaneously. Both of these factors are very important if we consider the relationship between predator and prey, and if we want to know the population dynamics on the basis of predator and prey relationship. Now, what is the significance of interaction between predator and prey? What is the importance that this interaction between predators and prey is quite important? So basically, predators have been maintaining the ecological balance. They does not let the animals grow increasingly, or they does not let the prey grow increasingly. And when the prey are herbivores, their overpopulation result in indiscrimination grazing or browsing and intermittent marked damage of green cover of earth. In India, like hill stations were developing to promote tourism, the top carnivores were killed at large scale in order to make the area safe for human beings. So basically, in a forest ecosystem, deer and lion form the prey and predator population. Prey species have developed many defensive adaptations, and predators have also evolved mechanics to break the physical chemical barriers between them. But predator-prey ratio is quite difficult because usually predator richness is directly proportional to prey richness in a community. When prey population declines, predators are starved to death and forced to migrate into the different or suitable environment. So that is why this predator-prey relationship is very important, and their interaction is very important, because if the predator does not feed upon prey, then the population of prey increases, and then it may cause damage for the environment. And also, if the prey became less in number, then also the predators cannot survive, so they leave that prey. So that is why the relationship or the balance between this predator and prey is very important for the growth of community or for the better development of the or for the healthy environment, healthy ecology, this predator and prey relationship is very important. Now the thing which is known as symbiosis, which we were discussing earlier, we are going to discuss that symbiosis again. Symbiosis is relationship between the two living organisms. These are of two kinds. Both partners are equally benefited, and one partner is benefited and other one is not benefited and non-harm. So the case in which both of them are benefited are mutualism and proto-cooperation, in which both the organisms are getting benefited with each other. And commensalism is the kind in which only one partner is benefited and the other one is facing loss. So basically that is about the symbiosis or relationship between organisms depending upon the benefit. So the first kind of symbiosis is mutualism. This mutualism is the organisms quietly equally benefited from each other. So basically, first of all, mutualism is present between algae and fungi. The relationship of algae and fungi is also known as lichen. Whereas one giving food to another and the other one is giving the place or a home to live, and that kind of mutualism is known as lichen. And in this, plants and fungi live together. Plants which are phycopods and fungi which are mycopods, they appear as one organism. You cannot distinguish between them, and they both benefited one another in one way or another. Now the second kind of mutualism is algae and higher plants. Algae and higher plants. Algae are also living in association with higher plants, and from there they both are benefited from each other. Next thing is mutual between bacteria and roots of legumes and non-legumes. Bacteria and roots of legume and also non-legume. This relationship is also there, in which both the partners are getting benefited from each other. Other than this, other kind of mutualism is between fungi and higher plants. Fungus is living in associated with higher plants, and the both are getting benefited from each other. This is also a kind of mutualism, mutual understanding and mutual benefits to each other. Now the kind is which is plants and animals are living in association with each other. How the plants and animals are living in mutual understanding with each other. Many birds and animals are herbivores and they eat fruit in the tropics. Numerous species of angiospermic shrubs and trees depend from these fruit-eating animals for dispersal of their seeds to avoid inter-specific competition. Fruit eaters are also known as frugivorous animals, and they eat fleshy fruits and disperse seed in nearby areas. The spread of plants in surrounding areas. So that is divided into different kinds. That is zoophily, which is animal-mediated population. The pollination which is done with the help of animals, that the plants and animals are living in mutual understanding with each other. Now the next kind of mutual understanding is between ants and higher plants. They both are benefited from each other. How ants get home to live on the higher plants, and because ants were present there in the higher plants, no other organism, no other animal try to feed on them. So basically they both get benefit to each other. Other than this, mutualism is between algae and sponges. It is between algae and sponges. They also live in mutual understanding with each other and give benefit to each other. And the last is between animals themselves. When animals are living together, they help each other and that is also kind of mutualism which is present between animals themselves. So these are some kind of symbiotic relationship in which both the organisms are getting benefit from each other, and therefore they are living in with each other. Algae and fungi, algae and higher plants, bacteria and root of legume and non-legumes, fungi and higher plants, plants and animals, ants and higher plants, algae and sponges, and also animals. These are the kind of mutualism which is present between the organisms. So students, after that we will discuss about commensalism, which is the second kind of symbiotic relationship. The second kind of symbiotic relationship, which is commensalism, is also there. This is present between epiphytic plants. Epiphytic plants live in commensally with each other, and also in epizoans. These are the two categories of organisms which live in commensalism between each other, and that commensalism is with permanent contact, that they have to live in permanent contact with each other, then the commensalism happened. Commensalism is also happened without the contact or with the sudden contact. For example, in lianas this kind of commensalism may occur. After that, the last kind of symbiosis is protocooperation. This is the last kind of symbiotic relationship. It is an interaction between two or more species which is favorable but not obligatory to both. Some organisms grow in very close association to roots or plants, and they form rhizosphere and microflora. So basically in this kind of things the benefit does not get into the both. One of them is getting benefit. So this is a non-obligatory mutualism, and it differs between two different animals or two different individuals. And positive and negative interaction which we have studied, both are equal importance in maintaining ecological balance and the stability of the ecosystem. So that is all about the association between organisms of different kinds of the same kinds. That's all for today.